What's up, folks? Nigerian Terrell here. Tonight, we're going to be reviewing Reacher, the new Prime Video series. You may have heard that name before. We'll talk about it in a second. This entire series, all 8 episodes, which is going to be released in February 4th. You may have seen Terrell's review already. Terrell jumped the gun and got his review out way before I can even watch the series here. So I was like, nah, brother. I got to jump on this one because I've been waiting for this ever since it's been announced. And I think this is a show that may not be on your radar, but you totally need to make time out for come February 4th, all 8 episodes, an hour each. You're not going to stop even if I told you to. It's really, really that good. And let me tell you why it's that good. Because if you were a fan of Jack Ryan, which is also on Prime Video, they did not tweak the recipe much from that. So I feel like they have this sort of DNA to do this type of series and succeed in it, and which I've seen in other series, but totally the biggest property in Jack Ryan. And this is literally just the same flip of the coin here. Like this, it follows this almost the same identity in sense of like there was original source material, there was an original movie, now they made it a series. You know, it came from big prominent actors, and now you're going to folks that are on the up and coming, and they say, hey, you can tell almost like Alan looked at this role and was like, oh, I need this. I really, really need this. And he really embodied the character of Reacher. And overall, it was a good series. Give me some of your thoughts, man. I know you had your review, but give me a little bit of what you got, sir.
Yeah, like I said before, my formula is like if it don't hit me in 3, I'm out. And this hit me in 1. I was all in. I was ready. I couldn't put it down, man. Like I was really like the action. Is very well choreographed.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm glad they got a big dude like Alan. I mean, he definitely put a little extra on, since his role in Titans, and he was just going to town, man. I was really feeling the story here. I really wanted to know more. They really reel you in with the whodunit.
Yeah,
and, from beginning to end, man. This was an amazing show. I don't know how Prime, Amazon is killing it on the originals.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, back to Alan Ritchson. I mean, I thought he was one of my favorites in Titans, and hopefully you're caught up with Titans by now. He has a very interesting potential write-off, I will say,
right?
Which I'm not so fond of, but I think that character was just so charismatic. And also, I think before you even get to some of like the bigger names in Titans, like Hank was one of those ones that really set the table and the tone for what that series was going to be, which is obviously a tip of the hat to Alan. So like, this is why when I looked at this, I was like, I really can't wait to see what he can do in this series that is focused around him. And he's been in other things, Ninja Turtles and something else.
Mountain State.
Yeah. This is a big one for him, and he absolutely nailed it. So quickly, I'm just gonna give you a little bit of the information about what this is. There will be very minimum spoilers here. Again, if you've already got Terrell's non-spoiler review, highly recommend checking that out. We're just going to talk a little bit more about this, a little bit more elaboration on certain things, but overall be just minimum spoilers here, because I know I'm going to slip up and say something. So I'm just going to let you know. But so in this story, Reacher comes to town to visit his brother, essentially. Right. That's just the thing. He was like, hey, and he's a hobo because he doesn't stay in one place. And I think one thing about this story is we get a lot about his background. So, there's this idea when you say hobo, you think bum, but actually it's just a style of living where you're just constantly on the run. And, we call it now hipsters and whatnot, tourist day, but like, that's what he does. He just goes around, he lives a very minimum life, and he's just not on the run. He's just constantly on the go. And this time it lands him to go in to see his brother. But upon coming into town, he kind of falls into a coincidental trouble, wrong place at the wrong time. Ends up being intertwined in what they think he's involved in the murder, which actually ends up him investigating the whereabouts of his brother, who his brother was intertwined into something. He's working for the Secret Service, and he was looking into some counterfeiting that was going on and got too deep. And we all know what happens when you get too deep. So now that Reacher's in this town, well, it's conflict. It's a stranger in this small town. So folks are pointing the finger at him. He's pointing the fingers and a lot more at the town folks. You got some politicians getting involved. Of course, you got law enforcement getting involved. And it's all just a big web of mystery as to who killed his brother, who is this other third party folks that are wreaking havoc on this town, and so many other things. So it's a ride, and it's really good. Terrell, you brought up my favorite point earlier. The writing on this is so good. The characters,
the source material.
Yeah. It's really good. I talked a lot, and just you jump in there a little bit about the your thoughts about the make of the series.
Man, I honestly, I mean, I feel like the trailer is cut to focus on the action, because that's the real for, I think, a lot of people in the audience. But outside of the action stuff, you really get focused in on the character work that was really getting me, because I wanted to know more about his backstory, his brother, Rosco, and a lot of the other characters in the show. Like I said, the action stuff is a small piece to everything else that's being set up, and I think it pays off very, very well, and it's well written, like you were saying. But it's so many layers from episode to episode, like what happened, or a new reveal at the end. And I like the way they set it up, especially with this show going to be a week to week, because you definitely gonna be like, man, why they ain't just put the whole thing on there? So
yeah,
it's amazing.
I wasn't sure, and I did a little bit of research to see how it was going to be released. That's why I wanted to make sure that we really stick upon the constraints of non-spoilers, because if it was going to be all released at once, I think you would be hooked, and that's 8 hours of your day gone. Right. But if they decide to go week to week, it really still works, because the anticipation week to week is high, and there's so much going on. And as I said, there's a lot of conflict. And why I say conflict, you're thinking like, oh, this is about to be some mystery thriller. Yeah, sure. But this is a lot of action. It is brutal. It is spine chilling.
Make sure you hear them hits. Make sure you hear them hits.
The stabs, the bone breaking, the noise, the sound mixing is which I ultimately want to land at. The sound mixing is very good in this. Like, you're getting a lot of very noticeable and recognizable sounds without even watching. And there's one scene in particular, and I think it's the last episode. And again, this is why I say mild spoilers, because I'm not gonna talk about what happens, but I will say that in the scene, he taps his gun on the car, and it's a tactic of why he did it. And the fact that the sound was so noticeable about him tapping his gun on the car, and they even talked about it. They said, "Oh, I know what a gun sounds like when it does this." And then he taps the gun on the car, and you have one of the most unique kills I have seen on television. That was so damn smooth, which is the sound mixing in this was really good, really good. Speak about the choreography, man. You mentioned it, but like let's get into that, because that was my favorite part besides the sound.
Like we were talking about Ritchson, this ain't his first action role. He hopped right. You could tell he probably, I don't know for sure, but he was doing it smoothly. Like, everything was well done. It wasn't a lot of scenes where it was cut away from him, or it was a stunt double. It looked like he was doing, from what I could tell, it looked like he was doing this all himself, and he was doing it well.
Yeah,
like he trained in something. I don't know what it was, but he was hurting them. Like,
yeah, and one thing I want to say that I don't always give credit to is that with choreography, a lot of people like to look towards the offense. I also got to say that people on the receiving end was doing their thing as well too, because everything looked super believable, because it's choreography and people are taking punches, but also some of it is, it's the acting in it, and like, you're super convinced about every scene when there is some hand-to-hand combat, some gunfights going on, all sorts of different things. There's a ton of different weapons being used, believe that, and like, it's all done very, very well. Turn the sound up. That's all I gotta say.
It's funny because I noticed they intentionally don't give him any weapons at all, like the first couple episodes, and then when he put a gun in his hand, it's over.
Yeah,
it's over. Like, you're dealing with a highly trained expert here, man. Like, it's crazy. Like,
And anybody that is familiar with the source material, this is from the Lee Child's first Jack Reacher novel, Killing Floor. So that's why, with
I ain't
that,
gonna lie. I kind of want to start reading the books now that I watched it. Like it's that good, man. I'm shocked that I'm not shocked that this is on Amazon, but I'm pretty sure they pitched this around before they got to him. I'm shocked that Amazon got this first. This is good. Like
yeah. A thing that goes across the entire series is details matter. And while that is a theme that is attached to the character, it also is a theme for the viewers. Like, you have to pay attention to all of the details. There's a lot of things said, there's a lot of things done that really gives you clues and insight about the direction of this as the series as you get deeper into it. And it's fun. It's not like you wearing a detective hat in the sense of like you need to know everything. It's just fun because things that they kind of put focus on actually is useful at some point. So details matter, and you will hear it said a lot during the series. But that's because Reacher he's a loner, as I said, but dude is very, very strategical. He's always focused. He's always paying attention to details. And like when you see him like assess scenarios and situations,
it's so cool. Like just Batman mode, because he's like he was an MP, right? Like,
yep.
And he's just like he was like, I know the guy was behind this bush. He did this at 12:00 p.m. And I'm like, man, like this is I don't know what he's talking about, but this sounds amazing. like he really, really catches on, man.
So smooth with the informational tidbits, so smooth, and he's cool, calm, and collected, but also he's super blunt. Like you can almost write him off as saying he's emotionally cold, which makes for some amazing scene with some of the other characters in it. I wanted to give it to you. Who was one of your favorite characters or actors involved with this outside of Alan and Reacher?
What's his name? The black cop. They names down.
What's his name? It's a very like
so I'll pull it up, but like, man, I hated that dude for like the first 2 episodes, and I said that in my review, man. Like he was just so annoying. He's like the straight lace, by the book cop, super annoying.
Yeah,
and then he becomes like one of my favorite characters on the show once they dive more into him and give you more information.
Yeah, Finley, played by Michael Goodwin. I think his character is a true testament to how on the edge of your seat you're going to be this entire season, because he does come off very strong-willed. He definitely comes off as like a by the book and just, those folks that you just don't want to work with, right. Whether you like law enforcement or not. He's just one of those people that you just like. He's a very straight by the book, straight edge type of person. Not straight edge because I think he drinks. Well, no, he is kind of straight edge actually. And like he's just annoying, and he's very thorough.
Right,
but
exactly.
Man, how you tend to like really fall in for him. And I gotta say, it's a lot of traits that's very similar to Reacher, which is why like when they have some scenes, like the scenes they share in the car together, it's super good. The dialogue is even entertaining and almost feels like, very climactic because they have very good scenes and like again, it's to the writing and to the acting, but like for sure. But for me, Willa Fitzgerald, who plays Rosco, who is a one of the top cops within the area in law enforcement. I like this character because this character really was like it was like almost the kryptonite to like everything that Reacher tries to put on.
Right, she was the one that could reel him in. Like, oh, let's.
Yeah. Really, she's respected. She's written, and Rosco is a female, by the way, and that's also something you'll find out in the series how they play that. And I think it's very cool that they gave Rosco a unisex name, because I think you know when you hear a woman that's a cop, you think damsel in distress. You think that, she's a deaf person and she's limited to abilities. But Rosco, I think by giving her a unisex name, I think it tends to let you realize that this person is one of the strongest written characters in the series, definitely capable of handling her own, nothing to be played with. So despite what you hear and what you may see, you don't mess with Rosco. And I think like you said, definitely was one character that absolutely can check Reacher in this, and he respected that, and that's what I liked about it, because you think woman and male, they're just going to have romance together. Nah, it was a lot of respect for one another, and they really was able to put together some important pieces of the plot, which I thoroughly love. So, definitely. And I also want to give a quick shout out to Harley Gillian, who is one of my favorite actors out there. Limited role, but I was surprised to see him. I think he was playing like a forensic scientist. And even with the
from What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah. Limited role, but if you know Harvey, he'll give you 5 seconds and it'll be memorable. And man, did he have some lines in this one that was very fun. Lines and mannerisms that was really good. So
that was probably my only thing that really stood out to me, was him trying to do that Southern accent. It wasn't working. It wasn't working.
Right. Oh man, so look, there's something else I want to say, and then we'll get wrap this up, because at this point now you all need to just go watch it.
Right.
When Reacher got angry, the violence got epic. So just know when he gets ticked off, he's going to handle his business, and that was some of the best stuff happening in here. Man, you just have to just kind of see. Episode 7 was super brutal. So you have to get all the way at least to episode 7 if you, it's not to say that like the other episodes didn't have anything, because
every episode's good. Yeah, it wasn't episode that felt slow to me.
Yeah, episode 7 is when they just like they tipped the knob and they just broke it. The home invasion was fantastic. They did this at night. They did this with rain. I mean, at this point, the cinematographer made his money.
That was how Home Alone should have went with.
Yeah, the cinematographer, they made their money on this. It was beautifully shot. There was a pool scene in this home invasion that was just fantastic. And I also got to say, because I'm a big, like, in terms of realism, I love that the fight was balanced.
It was. It wasn't like he was like Superman running through the room.
Washing everybody, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So,
because these were also... Like they tell you on these dudes have been trained in like whatever fighting style that they're in. So you notice when he fights them, it's a little bit more difficult versus like a regular dude. Like he's putting up a more of a fight with him. He's still beating them, but he has to do a little bit more with them than anybody else. Which I really liked that they took the time to differentiate.
Yeah.
And the headbutt they kept doing.
Yep, absolutely. Attention to detail, folks. As I said, details matter. In the last episode, I mean, it was good, and I really want more. It definitely put a nice bow on this season, and I'm already looking forward to season 2. And I will say, folks, there's a nice little cameo in there as well, folks. I'm not going to give you any details about that, because I know that's like a big thing everybody will run off for. But there's a nice cameo that you can expect in that. So, as I said, details matter. Tori, you got any closing thoughts for this?
Only thing I can say is like I said in my review, you gonna want some peach pie. That's the real whatever of the entire story is. That's some peach pie. So you gonna see what I'm talking about when you watch the show, and you're like, man, this is what he was talking about right there. That peach pie. Just kept doing him dirty with it, like.
But folks, when you check it out, totally jump in the comments. Let us know your thoughts about it. What would you rate it? What would you rate it? And I know because it's coming out weekly, let me know your thoughts throughout the season. What you think about it. Continue to come back and let us know your thoughts about it. Episode 1, man, it's just going to be like just injecting you with the energy. You go like, I need more. And you will, because it's that good. So, but yeah, folks, this has been our review of Reacher. Stay tuned for many more reviews, interviews, and other content very soon. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you all then.